Okay, friends, today we are going to learn about the learning experience design. As you can see on your screen, there are three levels of preparing your learning experience. One is the before teaching learning experience, during teaching, and after teaching. So please remember that when you are thinking about the learning experience, it is a three-level learning experience. So when you look at before teaching, you have your teaching goals that comes from directly from the content. You have your teaching goals. It tells you what you have to teach. That is the teaching goals. So you can lay down your teaching goals depending upon the content that you are teaching. You also have to have the knowledge of the learners with you. That is, in your class, what kind of learners do you have? So you need to assess their learner profiles. The learner profile consists of a variety of things. It could consist of factual information. Where do they stay? What was their educational background? What is their parental background? And what are their interests? So these are certain things that would be there in the learner profile. But other than that, related to the topic you are teaching, what is the entry knowledge for the topic? So therefore, a pre-test, a plan which consists of certain questions related to the topic that you are teaching is known as the pre-test plan. That could be given to the students to understand their level of motivation for that particular topic, as well as the level of achievement for the particular topic. And you can also in this note down any special instructions or prerequisites required for your session, for that lesson. After which you need to prepare your learning objectives. And these objectives are of different levels, mostly related to the Bloom's taxonomy. But see that you have all the three levels of objectives: the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. Each lesson should have all the three levels of objectives, where the child knows, where the child understands the feelings and the emotions and appreciates the topic. So that would be the affective level. And the psychomotor, that is the doing part, where the child does something. Following the learning objectives are the learning specifications, which are the again of the three level: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, where the child understands what is to be learned in that particular topic. Okay, the next thing, we go to the teaching setting. The teaching setting is the place where you are actually going to teach. So the teaching setting is the physical infrastructure, or like, for example, if you need to do some experimentation, do you have a teaching setting for that? So you have to prepare your physical infrastructure and also cater to the learner diversity. If you need to have certain group activities, so are you going to have the same teaching setting? You need to modify your teaching setting for the learner diversity. The next comes is the learning resources. You need to plan for your learning resources. What kind of learning resources are you going to use? So a learning resource could be a chart, it could be a worksheet, it could be a picture, it could be a map, it could be some material which the child has to go through. So it could be an open educational resource, it could be a self-learning material. Digital resources are available, also reference books. So all this can be in the teaching learning resources. Now, before you also start your teaching, you can also develop your rubrics, which the child can understand that, how the child is going to move in your evaluation. Rubrics can be developed before for your assessment. And these are different strategies you need to develop. Your teaching strategy, what will be the learning strategy of the student once you have taught the subject, What would be the enrichment strategy for that particular topic? What would be the differential treatment strategy? All the children in the class are not the same. All the students are not the same. So what is a differential treatment strategy you're going to use? What is the assessment strategy? What is the feedback strategy that you're going to use for this topic? Then we come to the next one, next stage, that is during the teaching. See, now during the teaching is the main part of your teaching. That is, you go to the class and you actually teach the topic, and it is not going to be teacher centered. It's going to be student centered. Therefore, I have put down so many activities here. You can use these different activities like group task. You can have an individual task. You can have an online experience. You can have reflective or metacognitive tasks. You can have individualized education plan for special children. You can have field visit or industrial visits, if any. You can also give assignments and projects when you are in the class. Now, you can also have many other things like experimentation. You can have certain skill development activities. So all this depends upon the topic that you have in hand. Then after the class, what do you do? After teaching, what do you do? You have to provide certain support services which would be need-based. Now, these support services are known as diagnostic and remedial measures. That is, you find out what are the weakness of the students, and accordingly, you give them the support. Enrichment support for gifted learners. Suppose there are gifted learners in your class, you need to give them some enrichment activities, so that is called as enrichment support for gifted learners. You need to find out certain, like for example, if it is mathematics, then you give them some difficult problems to solve. Also, you need to give the whole class some kind of enrichment where they read something more than what is taught in the class or what is mentioned in your syllabus. Mentoring and counseling support need to be provided. You need to mentor each and every student towards the achievement of the learning achievement, and counseling. If there is any professional help required, then you need to provide that also. Self-reflection by the teacher and the students is very important. Special observations, if any, you need to note down. And also, if required, there could be a parental intervention. Now, this does not get over without a feedback. Okay. You need to obtain a feedback from the students. Okay. And you need to also assess their learning outcomes. So here I have put down the word learning outcomes. You need to assess the students and you need to have a feedback from the students as to how was this learning experience for that particular topic that was provided to the students. So this is the learning experience designed for you, and you have to use it in your class. Whenever you go for teaching, you have to remember that these are the things before teaching, during teaching, as well as after teaching that we have to do. Most of the time, we only concentrate on during teaching. And that also, most of the teachers will go for the lecture method. So lecture method is not acceptable for all levels of teaching. There should be some activity, some task given to them so that they experience their learning. Okay, it becomes an experiential learning. So this is the learning design, learning experience design that I would like to present to you. Thank you.